Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Wednesday, August 5th, and this is your daily financial news. Do me a favor, if you like getting updates 7 days a week about the financial markets, hit that little subscribe button. If you don't mind, also hit the notification. I try to do these around 7:30 a.m., but usually one day a week we're up. We're doing it earlier or later based on an interview that I have to do for someone. So, in the end, I look forward to getting these to you about 7:30 a.m. Pacific, just so we're clear. Always talking about the daily financial news, and of course, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up. That would be wonderful. So I think we got to start off with the ADP number. As I talked about, I believe it was Saturday when we were kind of looking forward to the week. Wednesday was going to be our first kind of look back at July. Was July going to be a continuation of a strong June, or was it going to signal rougher times ahead and not hit expectations or actually shrink, which would have been really bad news. As always, we've talked about this every month. ADP comes out first. It doesn't have a really great track record of kind of mirroring what we will look at on Friday. So both sides, I assume, will hold out hopes that this number is not close. But the July number for ADP employment growth was disappointing. I would say really disappointing. Most people were hoping for a seven-figure growth, right? Something over a million. However, unfortunately, they came in at 167,000. So it missed by about 8x. And really goes to show that huge first bounce off the bottom has really decelerated and bigger problems ahead. Again, let's take a breath. Friday's right around the corner. That's the real number that matters. If Friday's number comes in and we gain seven figures, this number will be forgotten. If Friday's number comes in at this kind of disappointment or worse, which is certainly possible, that will be a problem. So we'll wait for Friday. But again, this is our first look. It always is. ADP comes out first. The real number will be Friday. And of course, we have tomorrow's new claims, Thursday. What is it, 18 weeks in a row? Over a million American citizens filing for unemployment. We have 2 weeks in a row where that number is up. Not a lot of good things going on right now. A lot of people were probably over celebrating the bounce in May, but that was just because April was so horrible. And again, I've been warning you that math lies, right? So let's see what happens. Disney. I talked about Disney coming out, I think, a couple of times. It is interesting. I think Disney is actually changing their business model at warp speed. When you think Disney, or I think Disney, I think theme parks. I think content in movie theaters. I think toys, cruise lines, right? Basically, Disney is people gathering. And what we see Disney doing now, with 100 million new subs, 60 million plus in Disney Plus, they're years ahead of growth. So, sometimes good timing works, I guess. But my big note of the conference call was twofold. First, they're releasing Mulan, which is this movie that had been right on the cusp of releasing before the pandemic, and they're going to release it as a premium service just on Disney Plus for $29.99. First off, they're going to sell a heck of a lot of movies. But second off, they're going to have even more people sign up because, again, we're all staying home. I don't know about you, but I'm starved for new original content. You can only go back and watch reruns or movies you've seen before. So again, I think Disney is changing right in front of us, and lots of things are being pulled forward in this crisis. And I think Disney, kind of direct to consumer, is going to be something to watch. I will be interested to watch the Mulan numbers next quarter, or if they release them in a month, that would be pretty cool. The other thing is Disney extracted 700 million in costs from their theme parks. That's that's impressive. First off, some costs had to go up, i.e., cleaning, right? But they still extracted 700 million, so they are watching their pennies. They now have plenty of cash given the run rate to get through this. I'm actually curious, does Disney get to a point where they have to discount prices? I think something that could be going on is, at least for the next 6 to 9 months, is the physical world is seen as risky by some, and maybe you have to entice people to come. But I don't know. It's just interesting to watch all of this happen. And again, I've been following the consumer for decades, and Disney is, in my opinion, one of the paramount consumer stocks. So I watch it quite a bit. Mortgage apps, again, we're in the real estate business, right? Mortgage apps were actually down 5% week on week. I'm sorry, that's month on month, 5% month on month. But there are up 22% year on year. Again, an app is not a approval and all of those normal things. It just shows continued interest. And if you haven't seen my video yesterday with Benny from Fresno talking about the just nutty Fresno market, and again, I equate Fresno market to about 90% of the US. Anything that's outside of these vertical cities, I think, is just going through a shift. Whether it's really remote, kind of lake homes or mountain homes, or just the suburbs for cheaper and backyards and all of that. It's. I have never seen Fresno with 1 month supply of homes. 1 month. And I've been doing this 20 years. I think that's, prices are going up. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, crazy. Gold finally broke that 2000 level. A lot of people have been following that. I think it closed at 2020, which is interesting, right? 2020. Sometimes these numbers just are funny, right? 2020. So it's up 32% for this year. Don't know how much more it's got to go. Probably some. A lot of people are talking about silver having a catch-up trade. I think last time I saw silver was 27. It might be 28 now. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about that. Seeing lots of reports now trying to scare us now that the $600 is gone, at least currently. August is going to be a rough month for PIP bills and all of that. One article I read talked about 5.4 million people who were scraping by with the bonus. So it is interesting to see that, this is real impact, right? And the whole, disincentive to work thing is, I think it certainly happens, but I don't think it's nearly as much as the media wants us to see. I did see a article from Politico, not a place I go to a lot, but because we have this stimulus talk going on, I have gone there probably the last 3 or 4 days. It seems like there's a general belief that the Republicans have come up, so they've raised their unemployment from 200 to 400 a week instead of 6, right? So they kind of met in the middle. They were talking about the eviction moratorium for government-backed mortgages going out until December. And they're talking about kicking in 200 million to the states. So, that is really, that's all the Republicans coming up. I couldn't see, or I didn't get the right side of the left or right or blue or red to see what the Democrats gave. But it looks like the Republicans, again, if you can believe one article, it's thinly sourced, but it sounds like the Republicans are coming up. And what I think's happening is that employment number on Friday is going to be bad. I don't know if it's going to be bad or really bad, but I think the Republicans need to get ahead of this. I think the Republicans want to mute the negative news Friday. That's what I think's happening. I talked about it yesterday. Nancy was clearly okay with this taking an extra week. The Republicans have jumped at that and said, basically, no, we need to come up. We want to do something Friday. So I really do think that's in the works. But what do I know? Next up, BMW. Again, high end. I think high end's in trouble. I think the consumer behavior is changing. The BMW luxury cars fell 25% in the quarter. Certainly a worldwide brand, but again, fell 25%. Last year, this quarter, they made 2.2 billion. This quarter, they lost nearly 800 million. So, that's a 3 billion swing. Then lastly, I just saw right before I was walking upstairs that the Chicago school system is having all of their kids take classes remotely, at least at the beginning of the school year. And I'm just, I feel for those parents. I mean, I'm just sitting here as someone and we're like, oh my God, what would I do if we had to, school our kids, during the day while we're also trying to work and all these other things? There's going to be a lot of parents who probably can't work because they have to school their kids. This is going to be a nightmare to figure out for parents. It's not going to be good. And then again, unfortunately, with the have and the have-nots, right? The whole K-shaped recovery, winners and losers. There probably are a bunch of kids um, who are don't have the technology to really make that work. So it is it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. And then lastly, it's funny. I put out a video yesterday talking about higher inflation and higher taxes in the next couple of years, and lo and behold, by 5 or 6 o'clock, I found an article where the Fed, Powell and his band of merry men, are looking about coming out with a mandate that basically says they will leave interest rates where they are until inflation is over 2%. That's meaningful because if you don't recall, back in 2018, they got a little hawkish, a little too early, and raised rates and really took the steam out of the market. And then they had to cut it all back. So again, if the mortgage rates stay where they are, let's call it 2.9, and they're going to stay there until inflation is at least 2%, what are you paying for your money? Almost nothing, right? So it is pretty crazy what is going on. And again, we need to be playing the chessboard for the future. Lots of people are worried about the stimulus check that's around the corner. But if you're investing, you're watching this channel, you're trying to build wealth long term, we need to look out years ahead. And I still feel confident that taxes are going to go up, especially at the state level for the blue states in trouble where I live, for example. I think federal taxes will have to go up, probably on the middle class as well. So if you tack that on with inflation, it is, we're going to be paying this bill a long time after the party's over. So something to watch for. So at the end, that's what I got for you today. We should have a couple of interviews today. If you like Anna Kelly, she should be on in about 10 or 12 minutes. And then I have another surprise guest at 9 o'clock my time. So look for a couple of interviews today. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.